4 candidates are running for Congress in Maine's 2nd District. Tiffany Bond is one of them.
Tiffany Bond is an independent, a family law attorney with a practice in Portland. On her campaign website, she describes herself as, and these are her words, a nerd who loves to read proposed federal law. She's with us here on 207. Thanks for coming in. It's good to have you.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much.
Let's start with a little basic geography. Where do you live?
Right now in Portland. I've been working on moving up north or west. We've been sort of working on it for a while, for a couple of years, but because I run a family practice and it's a solo practice, it takes a while to expand your area.
Have you ever lived in the 2nd Congressional District?
No, but I work there about half the time. So a lot of my clients are in that area, and that's really what motivated the run.
Isn't it really kind of presumptuous for someone who has never lived in the 2nd District to say, I am sufficiently qualified to represent the people, the hopes and wants and dreams of the people in that district, even though I've never lived there?
Well, given the geography of the current rep, I don't know that that's the case. But beyond that, I think that what motivated it is really seeing problems that weren't being addressed. And I think what's most important is to have somebody there who understands that the impact that federal law has on people. That's really important. And right now we don't have that.
Couldn't you do all those things running in the 1st District where you actually live and work?
Well, I work in the 2nd District too, and I could, but it seems sort of insincere to run in a district that I'm moving away from.
What makes you qualified, let's talk about this, to run for Congress when you have never held an elective office?
Well, I was an appointed official once upon a time in my past, and I think what is different is we are not paying attention to the skills that are necessary for the job. We send people based on personality and position. That's great, but if they don't understand the words that are going on the page and how they impact people, I don't know how you can proficiently do the job. So working in family law crosses a lot of federal law. I see taxes, I see healthcare, I see Social Security, I see disability, and it's all very important and it really impacts people. And I see little changes in the law, and I'll just give one quick one because I know we're short on time. For example, the tax code change that we had last December changed how spousal support was taxed. And that's something that really impacts a lot of Mainers because it's a low-wage state. There's a disproportionate amount of people here who receive spousal support, and that little change didn't really benefit the federal government much, but it really hurts Maine, and it really hurts the 2nd Congressional District because there's a lot of people who took time out of the workforce to raise children and then at the end of the day aren't left with much, and spousal support is how family law compensates for that. So we are in a position where we had a minor tax change that's now hurting lots of people in the 2nd District, and no one noticed.
Tiffany, you joked earlier about how you were recognized in the supermarket the other day, but for a lot of people tuning into 207 tonight, this is the first time they're hearing the name Tiffany Bond.
That's true.
How do you make yourself relevant in this race against a name, Paula Quinn, that people already know?
Well, I'm doing it very different. So I'm not running like anybody else is. You won't see ads for me. I think it's wasteful. Instead of fundraising, I do what's called main raising. I would really like for us to take all of the millions of dollars that we spend each year on politics and put it back into the community. Last election cycle, I think it was about $22 million. What could $22 million do in the 2nd Congressional District, either through small businesses or through charities? So I ask people to either donate to a charity and say that I won't take their money, or to shop at a small business and tell that small business I rejected their campaign contribution, but I asked them to please support a small business in the 2nd Congressional District, because that's where the resources should really be going. If we're going to elect people, let's elect people that know what the job is, that enjoy doing it, and that really sincerely show through their actions where they think that their heart is and the resources should go.
When voters are asked about the most important issues, the economy is always at or near the top of the list. The economy in the 2nd Congressional District has struggled for decades. What specific steps would you propose to try to change that?
I think that's a hard question to ask of a federal candidate, just because a lot of that is driven by state level, so that would be more of a gubernatorial question, I think, a lot of the time, but it works hand in hand, and I think that the mechanisms that are available at the federal government are available in tax code, carrots and sticks, and prohibitions. I think there's a lot that can be done, particularly with alternative energy sources, going and freeing up things like descheduling marijuana so that we can either use research or we can use it for recreation and tourism if we want, expanding rural broadband. I think those are things that you can push through either changes in what's prohibited or through funding sources to be able to help really the 2nd Congressional District get a leg up.
You said that you love to read legislation. This is a very unusual trait. Members of Congress do not usually do that. That's why they have staffs. They have other things that presumably are more important that they're dealing with. Do you think that the voters of the 2nd District really want someone to go to Washington for them to read through bills?
Yes, because right now nobody's doing it. We don't know what words are going on the page. We have people voting for things they have not read, and that's important. In fact, look at the races we have. Let's just say you needed to raise $1 million a year, right? So if you break that down into 50 weeks of the year, because you could get a vacation, and 40 hours a week, that's $500 an hour you have to fundraise as a full-time job. If you weren't doing that, if you were saying, look, don't give money to me, give it to the district. If you like the way that I'm running my campaign, if you like the way that I'm legislating, please just support my district. That's what I would like. That would free up an awful lot of resources to be able to do the job.
All right, we've got to let that be the last word. Tiffany Bond, independent candidate for Congress in the 2nd District. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
And if you want to actually see some of the other conversations with the candidates that we have already had or learn some more about these candidates, just head to the 207 section of our website and our mobile app.